True and Cosmic Peace in War Times. We are now back with part 12, all right, of Malachi York letters. So, let's keep it going, all right? This passage is speaking in the future when true culture is established in Africa on planet Earth. This excludes Mr. York for a few reasons, okay? One, being York told his mentally dead, followers, they, not all, were going to planet Ricks to live, and some will come back based on the faulty book of Revelations.
They had to be brought back to knowledge of Anu. This verse is speaking about a Mag-Urger, a great craft, as you read about the four creatures around on ring, a disc shaped like a saucer craft, one of those that come from Nibiru. They're seeing what looks like lightning and they hear what sounds like thunder, yet it is the sound of voices. Revelation 4:5. They also see the seven lights lit up in front of this throne or the heaven or city. In Revelation 21, it is called the seven angels or the seven lights, which are seven smaller crafts manned by an Anunnaki called Denir. The one they see sitting on the throne is Re, Anu. Revelation 4:2. And in the midst of the throne, and round about the throne, were four beasts full of eyes before and behind. These same crafts are called beast in Ezekiel 1:10. And Bennu, Nibiru, completes one orbit every 3,600 years, or 40 shars or 144,000 Earth years, for the 144,000 Earth people that will be taken in smaller crafts Henyu, Shams, until the complete 144,000 have been raptured or taken. 12 times 12 times 1,000 equals 144,000. The Sumerian word shars means supreme ruler. It also implies a complete circle or complete cycle, as in sitting around the throne with the sun at its center. So the symbolic meaning in their Bible for the 144,000 is the return of Nibiru after 40 cycles of 3,600. That would be the true rapture or great lift, the great and dreadful day to take those Nuwapians who are prepared to return through Bennu, Nibiru, then on to Alin and then to Risk.
Which was copied from the Hindu writings of sage Narada, who was the moon god to whom he incarnated. Secondly, this passage says the king or queen would be an incarnation of Nupu, 9 mind mental energies, / oh my god particles, ultra high energy cosmic rays according to science, because they are not spirits at this time. Again, York is not the one, Garu. Stop telling these lies, sir. Listen to reason. We Africans by race need the ability, knowledge, and guidance of sound right reason called Nupu, and our science known as Noon, in order to be mentally resurrected from the grave of ignorance about absolute nature and its laws that we must learn and practice for survival and liberation from enemy forces. Sound right reason, Nupu, is neither an individual spirit or spirits, nor spirit gods or goddesses. Sound right reason is the best mind of the one supreme being called absolute nature, who is infinite in all directions and eternal. Sound right reason is mind energy of the all in all that emanates from the centers of the suns of the universes and penetrates the persons, places, and things of the universes. Sound right reason changes the atmosphere we breathe and the way we think. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. Transcript of the tape number 59 in part. Okay? Not no aliens, not no spirits, not no Murdoch, not no Tahuti, none of that crap that y'all been told has nothing to do with sound right reason. Listen to reason. Right now, mental energies from the center of all what? The universe orbs, meaning the suns, the planets, and the satellites, not no extraterrestrials, people, are moving more positive toward what? Nupu. In addition, the negative force of nature that rule the bottom half of the smack circle of order, talking about spirits, have a positive side as well as a what? Negative side. And that positive side is partial, favorable to who? Nupu and Noon. not no extraterrestrials, not no hermaphrodites, not no homosexuals.
Surgery. This is a post from July 17, 2015. This post is being rehashed from another post on the topic of gatekeepers, which we just read from that, the last one we just read, which are hermaphrodite that Nawabians are being told to look for to perform sexual rituals of some sort with a golden child. This is called pedophilia in America, and York was convicted for practicing moon sex rituals on children and saying it wasn't. York's followers are saying that about them being involved looking for these individuals and being classified as homosexuals is not a code word for. However, at least one Nawapian named Jacquees Manning had the courage and honesty to admit homosexuals is indeed a. Yet other Nawabians are poorly misinformed or just not keeping up with the facts. So this post is being made for clarity that we did not make up the word homosexual or misused it as. All right, so we finna get into this conversation. This is out the group. These are York followers now. This the guy that admitted to it. All right, Jacquees Manning. Anu said, show me the and homosexuals that are gatekeepers. Jacquees replied, I don't know who they are. However, I can assure you Caitlyn Bruce Jenner is not one. Said they wish they knew about the gatekeepers. Now, we just read in the last post that a gatekeeper is another word for.
Gatekeepers are born totally feminine in body with a male spirit, or totally masculine in body with a female spirit. So the anatomy is a woman completely with all the physical attributes of a female with a male spirit inside of her, or a male with all the physical attributes of a male with a female spirit inside of him. Many oversexed persons are mistaken for gatekeepers and are called gays, and other terms which also helped birth homophobia, and misuse the term homosexuality. So in fact, homosexual would be two heterosexual males or straight males, and as soon as they have any form of sexual contact, they become not homosexuals but hormonesexuals. And what this means is when you have two males that are together that still dress like men, not a male that wants to be a female or transgend into a female, and then a male with that person. This means two men who still want to wear pants, who don't want to wear makeup, who are still men who get together. They are what you call hormonesexuals, not to be mistaken for somebody who wants to wear, or even females. If you have two females that look like females, then that would be considered of the same nature, think the same, act the same, feel the same way in both nature and sexuality.
Correct?
Yeah, we read
Y'all
that.
remember that was the title of the Wapping. We all in agreement, right?
I agree, that's what we read.
Okay, that's what they said, right? So Anu said, okay, cool. There are specific homosexuals and homosexuals York was looking for. That's a question he asked. So then Anu said, you must be one of them, Bakari. You a homosexual? This me right here saying, laughing my ass off. Jacquees came in and said, Anu, he's looking for the gatekeepers. He talking about York. Hermaphrodites and hermaphrodites. Special people, yes, but not just any old what. Right? This is what he replied, right? Y'all see that, right?
Yes, I see.
This is York followers saying that York was looking for special. We know that hermaphrodite is being interchangeable with homosexual, and he said here that York wasn't just looking for what any old. So Why they keep defending that York is not? What?
Greetings, Rattleback caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question, please?
Rattleback. This is Jamel.
Rattleback, Jamal.
Calling from Atlanta. I'm pretty much calling because I got a question to ask you. It seemed to be a split. Not seem to be a split. Let me just get to my question. Do you think there's homosexuality inside of ancient Egyptian culture? Though I'm not talking about like Egypt is a place that does homosexuality. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more of its belief. Mm-hmm. Do you think that, since there are ancestors, or do you think there's methodology? And if you think they're either or, when it comes to homosexuality, does that play a part into it?
Right.
Yeah.
The first thing is, when we say Egyptian culture, we have to clarify when we're talking about and who we're talking about, because there were people that came into what people are calling Egypt with their
Talk about the first beginning.
Right, that's what I'm saying. When you say the beginning, no, that did not exist. But what I'm saying also is there are things, because we have an excellent video on YouTube called Gateways and the Guardians, if you haven't seen that, by one of our sisters, that explains it very well in detail, because it's everything that we're talking about has a science. So you had beings called hermaphrodites and hermaphrodites, right? When you break down those words, hermaphrodite is her morphing into a he, and hermaphrodite or hermaphrodite morphing the other way around. So he morphing into a she and she morphing into a he. So we had beings, when you go back to the original beings that were here, that were hermaphrodites and hermaphrodites. You can read an actual fact called, I think it's Existence, How and Why, that touches on this as well. But my point is that misconstrued information, so when people say homosexual, there's hormone as in the hormones, and having double frequencies as in being a being that has a double resonant frequency, right? This is where you might have a physical being that is male but has a spiritual female being inside of their physical male being, and vice versa, where you have a physical female with a male spirit. And these beings were special and were utilized because of their double resonance frequencies to open gates.
What is the spiritual purpose of being a black gay man? The Dogon of Mali, Africa, as well as the Kamau, the blacks of ancient Egypt, had a very clear answer. They said, shamans. We are the shamans of the village. We are the spiritual keepers of the gates. Thus we were called gatekeepers. The question is, what's a gate? A gate simply is a state of mind or energy. A state of mind means a thought. Energy means a feeling. You have thoughts all day long and you feel things all day long. And sometimes the thoughts may not be positive or constructive, nor the feelings working properly. In that case, we would say your shamanic inner gates are closed. It was our job to make sure that your mind and your feelings, your emotions, were kept in harmony with the patterns of nature. In 2010, on March 21st, at the equinox, I revealed for the first time publicly a system brought to me by the ancestors, the black gay ancestors, of Africa, called the Golden Beetle System of Ra. This is a shamanic system designed to train black gay men in the secrets of African shamanic healing, the secrets of how to use cymatics or sound waves, how to use roots and herbs, how to use stones and crystals and colors and frequency.
And these beings were special and were utilized because of their double resonance frequency to open gates.
Okay? And this fact means that although Nupurs are not what? Spirit beings. So stop saying 9 ether spirit beings. Y'all are insane. In the bottom half of the order of the order circle, Nupu and Nun have what? Spirit beings aid and support and recognition, because spirit beings know even though they have created and supported religion for 6,000 years, it is time for us all, spirit beings included as well as human beings, to be taken upward in standards and values, qualities by what? Non-ether mentality, Nupu. Not taken up in a spaceship that never came. And also non-mind what knowledge, which is what Noon. Not Wu Sabat, not Wu Nawupu, not Moon Wapu. None of this crap, Sabians, none of that crap is what y'all supposed to be following. Simple. Counterclockwise, on the right side of the smart circular order. Let it remember, always let it be known. Mr. York has claimed to be incarnations of 6 ether Murdoch, Melchizedek, and 3 ether Tahuti, which are anti-Ethiopian African race members as spoken of in the Bible interpretation and explanation and the nature books. Sabians still worship and trust these fiends.
Cool. As the
There you go.
we practice Nupu.
See, the Ethiopian race descended into slavery and torturous, hell and Hades. It now takes the right side spirits of the smart circular order to help us Ethiopian. Not them, not Murdoch, not Tahuti, not Osiris, not Isis, none of them. By race out of captivity and torture and back to liberation and freedom. Our type of freedom and our own type of society, which is what? Noon. Not Wu Sabat. Surely, those spirits who will work with Nupu and Noon for our liberation, for what? Adverse forces are right side spirits. Not no aliens. Ethiopians by race cannot put any what? Confidence in their old gods and goddesses, because they let us Africans by race down. Although it was predestined to happen according to the smart circular order. So all these forces here is the reason why Sabians and the rest of the world have messed us up as a race. They have not liberated black people. They only enslaved us in other people's religions and religion in general. Transcript tape number 54. Mr. York has taught all his followers they have confidence in all those deities that dumped us into slavery from ancient times. That is why Mr. York is in prison, as his trust in those demon gods left him to suffer at the hands of the Pakakasu, as the Caucasians, as the Sabians say, the same way they set Esau Panthera up, Caesarion Ptolemy the 15th, also known as Jesus Christ, at the hands of the Romans. Y'all forgot about that? Y'all forgot that Jesus was an incarnation of the same gods the Hammurabi had? Y'all forgot about that? And they did what to him? Set him up. Remember, the M23 says plant stands alone as the heraldic logogram. Heraldic is an adjective on the model of French, heraldique, from Middle English and Latin, herald, the sea herald.
Bees are the main symbol in ancient Egypt, and people think, oh, it's the Horus bird. It's the bee. You have the pharaoh, the king of Egypt. What was his title? Beekeeper. What do you have in his signature? A picture of a bee in the royal cartouche. You have the goddess Neith, who lived in the house of the bee. Osiris is buried in the mansion of the bee. Tabiti is the name of the land around Cairo, and that's the land of the bee. The original king of Egypt, Min, was the master of the wild bees. And just look at Tutankhamun. Look at his burial mask. Yellow and black horizontal stripes. What's his title? Bee King. I hold out hope that somewhere under the 2/3 of Egypt that's covered in sand, there's going to be more proof that this was one of the most venerated creatures that ever existed.
It means what? Messenger, envoy. See? A surname. Herald, commander of an army, or a similar Germanic source from Proto-Germanic army. Root coral, war, to command or rule. Let's go to the nature books. Listen to reason. Now that the universe orbs and bodies like the sun, earth, and moon are decreasing in 6 ether energy and mind and increasing in 9 ether energy and mentality, someone has to herald and what? Usher in, command, and rule in this change from universe winter, the evolution cycle, to universe spring, the revolution cycle. See forms 1 and 2 in the 4-word topic. And that someone is who? Afro-Unu, not York. Once again, y'all have been played. The writer and messenger of who? Nupu, whose science is noon. Like the correct information in the presentation. Moonset Sunrise in part, page 35. Listen to reason. So then the conception of Nupu is the what? Beginning of 9 ether what? Mentality. In the brains of the stars. Again. And the gestation of Nupu is the gradual increase and emanation of that what? 9 ether mind to the rest of the universe, including human beings. But someone amongst us, humans, has to be the what? The herald, the M23, the head messenger of the knowledge of this new cycle. Remember York said that Afro-Unu is the head in the Harvest book. That he gave Afro-Unu credit. All right. The head messenger of the knowledge of this new cycle and new order, person and things. And Nupu what? Selected and appointed from amongst their posterity, Afro-Unu, not York. York was not selected by Nupu. York was possessed and selected by 6 ether Murdoch and 3 ether Tahu to go against Afro-Unu and Nupu and Nupu. And qualified and authorized him to what? Write, circulate, and what? Propagate Noon. So there you go. Propagate means to teach. So he was teaching. Just because you, Garu, didn't see it, don't mean it wasn't happening. The science of beginnings and endings, plus the SMAT circle of cosmos, including the SMAT, Nature Book 2, page 167 in part. This also disqualifies York, who claimed he was here to raise 144,000 children to go on a ship with the Anunnaki reptiles that was supposed to take them since 2000, 2002, 2003, 2007, 2009. I even seen something that said 2013, 2030, and 2045. One of the deities Sabians and Wapians were worshiping was Enki, whom York claimed he was his spiritual father. York claimed that Enki was his spiritual father. Y'all forgot about that? These images come from Nawapianism.com. Mr. York taught that Enki was possessed by the sex force of the violent. How can an alien be possessed by the violent? It's like the tablets. Those who follow Enki, who was surrendering himself to Hindu deities called Leviathan, and surrendering to their customs and traditions, and even went as far as to rage and protest Ishtar, also called Inanna, to be a supreme deity called Sinj or Sin. How does this make sense?
So Mary is no more than Isis, our mother, our blessed mother Isis, while in Egypt. When we were in Sumeria, she was called Ishtar. And Osiris was our heavenly father. He was our link to Ra, the sun, the life source. And in Sumeria, he was called what? Damuzi. And Damuzi and Ishtar had a very special son that they called Tammuz.
How can an extraterrestrial fall victim to a religious group of humans? Make it make sense. Mr. York also taught Enki, his father, and the Nuwapians, God had sex with his daughter and granddaughter in his Black Book too. And the reptilian side of Enki dominated the Anunnaki side, which made him more sexually active because reptilians enjoy sex with humans. They are constantly abducting humans for that main purpose. Enki was given into his reptilian side. He even went as far as having sexual intercourse with his daughter, granddaughter, and great-granddaughter, etc., just to bear a son so that the son could take Enlil's position or be in competition with the sons of Enlil. Again, following Zechariah Sitchin. The next definition of the M23 says leaf meant denote royalty, authority, dynastic power, and the pharaoh. In the people God races, the natural born leader was number one of each origin group of 72 members, and each successor leader was a natural born leader, or chosen by spirit beings of both. And this heritage of the firstborn, or best suited by nature leadership, was passed on to the kingship of the who? Tarkanor race, also called the Ethiopian race, African race, and black race. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. Introduction to the Nature and Nature book, 2 pages of
as the Wapians,
111 through 112.
As the Wapians,
just as there are forces that can foretell the future, there are also forces that can retrace the past. And Amenubi Rakapata, writer of Bible interpretations and explanation, has access to all forces necessary to retrace and foretell. And this fact made these booklets possible. One authorized and appointed by the force of nature is given connection and access to powers of what? The sun and moon, and powers of planet Earth. York claimed he got his powers from extraterrestrials, not the orbs, that he may take his place what? In the sun, meaning in universal affairs, and all of his kind, who are able to learn, understand, and accept universal knowledge and facts as disclosed by non-ether, will also be given the same what? Connections and powers for realization and maintenance of liberty, justice, equality, rightness, and surviving beyond Armageddon, the war, short armor 2, right and wrong. See, that is very important. Here in the BIA tells you that Amanubi has access to past, present, and future, and to the sun, moon, and the earth. York is all the way disqualified. Bible Interpretation, Explanation, Booklet 2, number 5. All these things written here apply to Afro Unu. We now know, since 2014 to now, that Mr. York was indeed lying about being Amenubi Rakapata, and he admitted to now writing the Bible Interpretation Explanation Booklets 1 and 2 and the non-Bible comments. Okay? We already knew, we just didn't have the evidence prior to 2014, but we was working on it and we got it. All right, this is from Devon Wilhelm, who was one of the greatest debaters in our group. He said, is York Amenubi Rakapata the author of Get From Behind the Nine Ball, a book they never have produced yet, and the Bible Interpretation Explanations, BIAE booklets? Is York the chosen one and first in this day and time to reveal The word Nawapu as he once claimed in some of his books in the 90s, is York also Afro-Unu, the author of Nature writings? Nawapu will say yes, or they will say he only came to reform and renew information to right the wrong. So, once again, this is one of the letters. Next thing they're going, I asked why, and I'm told some lie, when in fact I am not the Amanubi of the Bible interpretation and explanation. I'm just a messenger sent to renew, which really means to remix it and mess it up. Truth, that's all he is. And he is head of the Nawapu, one of the elders who guides my pen once again, like we said up here. Afro-Unu was the head. He's the herald. See? One has to be the herald. Look, the head messenger. So York is only claiming and tried to play it down. Now you in prison. All of a sudden, you just a messenger. No, you not. You as a sixth ether worker. Right? He claims that he says here, he is the head of Nawapu, which we know is Afro-Unu now. Afro-Unu did not guide his pen. He stole from Afro-Unu and still lying even while he giving a man credit. Murdoch can't be trusted. He's one of the elders who guides my pen. I am what people want me to be. That means you will follow them. If you what people want you to be, that's lame. I did not write Bible interpretation, explanation, or behind the 9 ball. I only renewed it, meaning he remixed it and changed it from what it was. Not to forget that Mr. York released a book called The Harvest, giving Afro-Unu credit for bringing the Wapu. And it says right here, 173, they saw as the year 2000 that what I began to teach was unlike any other black leader. So they watched and waited to see if it was Wu Sabat. They knew about what? The Wapu of Afro-Unu. See, so all of that lying for years didn't get Afro-Unu credit, misspell his name, and then still say he didn't have all the answers. But that's what the Wapu has been saying for years. The Wapu is it. The Wapu is the science. The Wapu got it all. All of a sudden, it don't have everything because he had to give the truth and the facts to Afro-Unu.
Okay, now, are you indeed the leader of the United Nawapi Nation? No, but I'm the founder of the Nawapians. That's another hoax, an ideal for Mr. Howard Richard Seals, and more slander and defamation of character, by the way. I'm not the leader. They look on Sunrise album back in the 60s. They look on, what's his name, Pharaoh Saunders album. They'll find in the back of that album the word Nawapu was already there before. There's books written back in 1963 and on record in Washington, D.C. behind the 9 ball and quite a few other books. They don't have me down as the author or the publisher or part of that publishing company at all. You follow? So it was something new and exciting. They grabbed it. Nobody down here would know what it is, so they wouldn't really investigate it. And so they threw the name out there. No, I'm not the sole leader.
Cool. So Mr. York was impersonating as the Pharaoh Amenubi Rakapata Afro-Unu from 1991, 92 to present day.
We practice Nupu.
This what happened when you see a faker. False. Here's the proof of Mr. York as stated over the years when he was out claiming that he was Amenubi Rakapata. In the book Nawapu and Amenubi Rakapata, Fact and Fiction, he says the purpose of this scroll was to give those people who question the very origin and the meaning of the words Nawapu and Amenubi Rakapata a clear understanding of what they mean. Both words are introduced to the public in the Western world as far back as 67 AD, which is a lie. York was in prison from 1964 to 1967. He didn't introduce nothing. He was a Muslim and a gang member. Of course, we know that was a lie. And Mr. York was in jail from 1964 to 1967. Here's one of Mr. York's slaves repeating the same lie with the earlier date. Right? This is January 26th of this year on Facebook. The lamb soon appears as the lion, seen by many, understood by few. Those who look for signs miss what stands plainly before them. The word became present, some revelation breathed. Now a maxim from Pandabar, the master. The maxim of Yanun, Pa, Mimimad, by I.M. Yananan, the overseer by Yananan, the way to salvation, right? He says is what? For you, all my beloved children of Wu Sabat, Wu Nawab, Pa Nadir Amun Nabab, Ray Ye Akhtar, see, still corrupting the word Amanubi Rakapata, presently known to you as Baba Yananan, appeared to you in Bashir, human flesh, in the year 1963. I have dark reddish brown skin color, woolly hair with eyes like flames of fire. That's again copying out of the book of Revelation, saying Jesus had eyes of flame of fire. Y'all are still in religion. York was not introducing nothing in 63 except being out in the streets, being a part of a gang, and caught a statutory rape charge and went to jail for 3 years. This is on record. So he's still telling lies. This 1963 date is a direct contradiction to Mr. York claims a man from Planet Risk that the year was 1970. See? Man from Planet Risk book. Then in 1970 was my time to what? Come in flesh. But he just said he appeared in flesh in 63. See that? See the lies? To come in flesh to start my work of what? Breaking the spell of sleep. Also called the spell of Leviathan or Kingdom. The moon spell or lunatic state of mind with the power as the son of righteousness. All this is in the book of Malachi 4:2. Religion. He was a religious nutcase. Okay? Another mistake Mr. York states, okay, up here, let me read this. He said the power of the son of righteousness, Malachi 4:2. Earth astronomers thought it was a comet, which they called Bennett, that appeared on March 16, 1970 AD, 4 months before my 25th birthday in June 26, 1970. The opening of the seventh seal, which marked the beginning of the Aquarian Age, an astrophysicist named Ricardo Siacani sent up a satellite from Kenya, Africa in the year 1970 AD to study X-rays in the sky for 3 years trying to map our comet. The satellite was called Uhuru, which in the African language called Swahili is freedom. Swahili is made from two different languages called Bantu and Arabic. That was a language created for the slave trade that occurred in Zanzibar between the Arabs and the scientists who were well aware of our coming and called us Bennett. Okay. Another mistake Mr. York states is that 1970 was the start of the age of Aquarius. Of course, this isn't true, but I took it to Duck AI. I said noon signs by way of afternoon said February 5th, 1962, and Malachi York says 1970. Who is more accurate based on what you know? We're talking about the start of the age of Aquarius. So then,
as the Wapians, we practice.
Clark responds. What actually happened February 4th to February 5th, 1962? This is automatically documented and verifiable. This is astronomically okay. On February 4th to the 5th, 1962, exactly when there was a new moon and a full solar eclipse, there was also an extraordinary celestial conjunction of the 7 primary planets, with the Earth, the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn were all visibly grouped close together, and their orbits were aligned with the Earth. The closest bunching of the planets on February 5th, 1962 at 12:11 a.m. London time placed Mars at 02 Aquarius, Saturn at 03 degrees Aquarius, the Sun at 15 degrees Aquarius, Moon at 15 degrees Aquarius, Mercury at 16 degrees Aquarius, Venus at 17 degrees Aquarius, Jupiter at 18 degrees Aquarius, all within 16 degrees of each other. This conjunction of the Sun, Moon, Earth, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn transiting the sign of Aquarius happens but rarely, thousands of years apart. York's 1970 claim, there is no document extraordinary astronomical event in 1970 that supports it as a start date for the age of Aquarius. 1970 has no verifiable celestial basis in this record. What the astronomical record actually shows, the comet Bennett, partially verifiable. The comet Bennett was discovered December the 28th, 1969 and reached perihelion on March 20th, 1970, passing closest to Earth on March 26, 1970. So his March 16 date is slightly off. The comet was approaching perihelion around that date, but closest approach was March 26. Look, he off by 10 days. Told you he's a 9th grade dropout. He doesn't know nothing. Uhuru satellite, verified but with corrections. The Uhuru X-ray Explorer satellite was launched December the 12th, 1970 for a platform off the coast of Kenya. It was named Uhuru, the Swahili word for freedom. However, Mr. York misspelled the scientist's name. It's Ricardo Giaccone.
As the Wapians,
Again, you don't like the cite stuff that he take from other people. A lot of times, he don't want you to see the race. Not Giaccone. Also, Giaccone was Italian, not from Kenya. He simply launched from a platform off Kenya's coast. Also, York says Uhuru was sent to study X-rays in the sky for the 3 years trying to map our comet. Uhuru's actual mission was mapping celestial X-ray sources, providing first observational evidence for black holes. It had nothing to do with tracking human beings or York specifically. I wanted you to speak on how far off York was with the Aquarius age date being 1970. York's 1970 claim for the age of Aquarius has no astronomical basis at a starting date for an astrological age. Here's why. What an astrological age actually requires. An astrological age is determined by the precession of the equinoxes, the slow wobble of Earth's axis that moves the vernal equinox point backward through the zodiac over approximately 25,800 years. That is a measurable, trackable astronomical phenomenon. No single comet appearance or satellite launches any bearing on when that precession crosses from one constellation into another. Comet Bennett and Uhuru are irrelevant to the calculation. A comet passing through our solar system and a satellite being launched are local events. They have zero connection to the precession cycle that defines astrological ages. York used two real 1970 astronomical events and reframed them as markers of an age, but that is not how astrological ages are calculated by any method, ancient or modern. Compared to February 5th, 1962, right, which is the date Afro-Uno gave, on that date, Mars, Saturn, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter were all positioned with an Aquarius simultaneously. 7 bodies directed in the sign itself. The contrast is clear. 1962, 7 planets physically in Aquarius. 1970, a comet at closest approach in Aries. Afro-Uno's date has direct Aquarian astronomical support. York's date does not, even by the comet he himself cited as evidence. He put out in one of the books, Opening of the Seventh Seal. Ridiculous. Religion. My research also revealed that Mr. York also co-opted and stole his 7th seal being open because of the appearance in 1970. So when you look into his L's Holy Injury, he brings it up. The date, it was 29 comets cited, March 16, 1970, and last seen 1986. That's the comet Bennett. This guy here, Hal Lindsey, spoke about the comet in 1970 in his book. See Hal Lindsey and Comet Bennett, the context of this discussion. You can get that book if you want it, but it talks about apocalyptic interpretation. Lindsey suggested that the Comet Bennett was a sign that aligned with his views on the end times, which frequently discussed in relation to biblical text, biblical prophecy, right? Public engagement. This approach, He believed that celestial events were indicators of prophetic fulfillment, emphasizing the importance in understanding the timeline of biblical events. Lindsay's discussion on Comment Bennett was part of a broader narrative he presented to his audience, aiming to connect current events with scriptural prophecy. So this approach was characteristics of Lindsay's work, where he sought to interpret modern occurrences through a biblical lens, particularly focused on things of prophecy and the imminent return of Christ. Again, York following Caucasian people who were religious and off as well. This concludes part 12. We'll be back with part 13.